Imagine biting into crispy golden brown potatoes, seasoned to perfection, oozing with a tangy, spicy tomato sauce, and topped with a dollop of rich, creamy aioli. This is not a mere potato dish, it's a food experience that takes you on a culinary journey to the heart of Spain. We're talking about patatas bravas, a classic Spanish tapas dish that has won hearts worldwide with its harmonious blend of flavors and textures. These aren't just any potatoes. They're crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and doused in a fiery tomato sauce that's tempered by a soothing aioli. It's a dish that embodies the spirit of Spanish cuisine, vibrant, bold, and utterly delicious. In this video, we're going to walk you through the process of making patatas bravas from scratch. We'll guide you in preparing the perfect potatoes, crafting the spicy tomato sauce, and whipping up the creamy aioli. By the end of this video, you'll be able to prepare a plate of delicious patatas bravas that could rival those served in Spain. Before we dive into the cooking process, gather all the necessary ingredients. Let's start with the star of our show, the patatas bravas. We'll need about 1 kilo of potatoes. You can choose any variety that you prefer, but I find that the starchy ones work best for this recipe. We'll also need some olive oil for frying, a generous pinch of salt, and a sprinkle of freshly ground black pepper. Moving on to the spicy tomato sauce, this is where we can really spice up our dish. We'll need 2 medium-sized onions finely chopped, 4 cloves of garlic minced, and 2 large ripe tomatoes diced. For the heat, we'll need 2 red chilies. If you like it really spicy, keep the seeds in, but if you prefer a milder heat, you can remove them. We'll also need a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of red chili powder, and salt to taste. If you can't find smoked paprika, regular paprika will do just fine. Now, let's talk about the aioli. This creamy garlic mayonnaise is what brings all the flavors together. For this, we'll need 2 egg yolks, 2 cloves of garlic, finely minced, half a cup of olive oil, and the juice of half a lemon. Salt is optional here, as the aioli will be mixing with the already flavorful potatoes and the spicy tomato sauce. Just a quick note, if you're vegan or allergic to eggs, you can make a vegan aioli with cashews or silken tofu. Just replace the egg yolks with half a cup of soaked cashews or silken tofu and follow the rest of the aioli recipe. Now, isn't that a wonderful array of ingredients? It's like a celebration of flavors waiting to happen. I can almost smell the spicy, garlicky aroma wafting through the kitchen. Can't you? With all the ingredients ready, we're set to start cooking. The star of patatas bravas is, of course, the potatoes. Now, let's turn our attention to these earthy gems that are about to transform into the delectable centerpiece of our dish. First things first, we need to give our potatoes a good scrub. This is an important step because potatoes often come with a bit of dirt on them. We want our patatas bravas to be free of any grittiness, so don't skip this step. Use a soft brush while washing under cold running water. Next, we'll peel the potatoes. While some may prefer to leave the skin on for a bit of rustic charm, traditionally, patatas bravas are made with peeled potatoes. So let's stay true to the roots and peel off the skin. Hold the potato firmly and glide the peeler from top to bottom. Rotate and repeat until all the skin is removed. Now comes the fun part, cutting the potatoes. For patatas bravas, we're aiming for bite-sized cubes. So slice each potato in half, then cut each half into half again. Now lay these quarters flat and chop them into cubes. But wait, before we rush into frying, there's one crucial step that's often overlooked: drying the potatoes. Drying the potatoes thoroughly ensures they don't cause any oil splatter when we drop them into the hot oil. Not just that, it also helps achieve that golden, crispy exterior we all love. So, pat them dry using a clean kitchen towel or leave them out on a wire rack for a few minutes. Now, I know it may seem like a lot of steps just for preparing potatoes, but remember, the beauty of every dish lies in the details. Each step we take adds another layer of love and care to our patatas bravas. So, there we have it. Our potatoes are washed, peeled, cubed, and perfectly dried. They're all prepped and ready to take a sizzling dive into the frying pan. Now that the potatoes are prepped, it's time to cook them to crispy perfection. While the potatoes are cooking, we will prepare the spicy tomato sauce and aioli. Let's start with the spicy tomato sauce, the soul of patatas bravas. It is here where we infuse the dish with its characteristic fiery flavor. To begin, heat a generous glug of olive oil in a saucepan over medium heat. Once the oil is shimmering, add finely chopped onions and a pinch of salt. Sauté until the onions are soft and translucent. Next, we introduce the star of the show, the tomatoes. These should be ripe and juicy, chopped into small pieces. Add them to the pan, and then it's time for the spices. A spoonful of hot smoked paprika, a dash of cayenne, and a hint of sugar to balance the heat. Stir well to combine, allowing the tomatoes to break down and the flavors to meld together. This should take about 15 to 20 minutes. Once the sauce is thickened to your liking, remove from heat. Allow it to cool slightly before blending it into a smooth consistency. This will give your patatas bravas that velvety, luxurious coating. Taste and adjust the seasoning if required. Remember, a good sauce is all about balance. The sweetness of the tomatoes, the heat from the spices, and the savoriness of the onions should all harmonize together. Now let's turn our attention to the aioli, a creamy garlic sauce that adds a delightful contrast to the spicy tomato sauce. In a bowl, combine crushed garlic, egg yolks, lemon juice, and a pinch of salt. This forms the base of our aioli. Whisk these ingredients together until well combined. The next step is to gradually add olive oil, drop by drop, while continuing to whisk. This process, known as emulsification, will thicken the mixture, transforming it into a creamy, luscious aioli. Be patient and add the oil slowly, or the aioli may split. Once you've incorporated all the oil and the aioli has reached a mayonnaise-like consistency, taste and adjust the seasoning. If it's too thick, a splash of water can help loosen it. If it's too tangy, add a bit more oil. Remember, like the tomato sauce, the aioli should be a symphony of flavors. Garlic's punch, lemon's tang, and the rich, silky texture from the oil. And there you have it, 2 beautiful sauces, each with its own character, ready to dress up our patatas bravas. They may seem like simple condiments, but they are the heart and soul of this dish, turning humble potatoes into a culinary delight. With the sauces ready, we're just a few steps away from assembling our patatas bravas. The potatoes are crispy, the sauces are tangy and creamy. It's time to assemble our patatas bravas. Let's start the assembly process by adding a generous amount of our spicy tomato sauce to the crispy potatoes. You want to ensure every potato is well coated with this fiery sauce, allowing the bold flavors to seep into the golden, crisp exterior of our potatoes. This is where our hearty potatoes start transforming into the classic Spanish dish we know and love as patatas bravas. Now, a tip on presentation. It's all about layers and textures. Start with a layer of potatoes at the bottom, sprinkle some freshly chopped parsley for that pop of color and refreshing flavor, then layer on more potatoes. Repeat this process until all your potatoes are used up. Next, let's move on to the aioli. This creamy garlic concoction is the perfect counterpart to our spicy tomato sauce. It adds a cool, creamy element that balances out the heat, creating a harmonious blend of flavors in your mouth. Drizzle this lusciously smooth aioli over the top of your layered potatoes, allowing it to cascade down the sides in a decadent waterfall. And for the final touch, a sprinkle of smoked paprika. This adds a subtle smoky flavor, a beautiful color contrast, and gives our patatas bravas that authentic Spanish flair. Remember, we eat with our eyes first, so presentation is key. Take your time arranging the dish to look as appetizing and inviting as possible. You might want to serve your patatas bravas straight away while they're still hot and the flavors are at their peak. But remember, this is a dish best shared, so gather your loved ones and dig in together. It's not just about the food, it's about the experience, the sharing, the laughter, the memories you create while enjoying this delectable dish. And there you have it, a plate of mouth-watering patatas bravas perfect for any occasion. That's how you prepare a delicious plate of patatas bravas from scratch. We started by gathering all our ingredients, ensuring we had everything we needed to create this Spanish delight. We meticulously prepared the potatoes, taking care to dry them thoroughly for the perfect crispiness. We then progressed to creating the spicy tomato sauce and aioli, where the key was to balance the flavors just right, adding that signature zing to our dish. Finally, we assembled and served our patatas bravas, presenting a plate that was as pleasing to the eyes as it was to the palate. The journey of creating this dish from scratch is as exciting as savoring it. Paying attention to the small details like drying the potatoes and balancing the flavors can make a significant difference in the final output. Thank you for joining me in this culinary journey. Enjoy your patatas bravas and stay tuned for more delicious recipes.